everyone. This is Michelle Gramoglia, the President and CEO here at Woodland Pond, and this is my weekly address for a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. I am going to go through a couple of things, and I'm going to ask for some feedback. I am going to read through what is a relatively extensive list of calendar items at some point during this address. And what I would like to know, if you are willing to provide the information to me, is if this is helpful to you. I feel like a lot of the address ends up being calendar reminders, and I have absolutely no idea if this makes a lick of difference in anybody's life. And if it does not, there's no need for us to focus on that content during the addresses. So if you could please let me know that, that would be very helpful. I want to let you all know that you will be getting a memo shortly announcing the hiring of our new Chief Operating Officer. As you will see in the memo, the person that was selected is going to start on October 1st of 2025, so in about 2.5, 3 weeks. And for anybody that has been here for more than 2 years, you are going to recognize the person that has been hired. You knew her as Cameron Ilgner, and she is now Cameron Reale. She was married at the end of August. We had many applicants for the position, and the search was extensive. I interviewed a number of candidates, some stronger than others. And at the end of the day, it was Cameron's very in-depth knowledge of Woodland Pond, both everything that she learned in the year that she did her administrator and training program towards what eventually was receiving her nursing home administrator's license. And then the following position that she held here at Woodland Pond, which was as our strategic initiative specialist. She really had dug into really a lot of the fundamental and core functions of Woodland Pond. And she has been the nursing home administrator at a nursing home in Clifton Park for the last 2 years. That is a single site nursing home only, and she was fully in charge. It was part of the St. Peter's healthcare system, or it is part of the St. Peter's healthcare system, but Cameron was, in charge of everything. So, all of the departments that she will oversee here at Woodland Pond, which are outlined in the memo, I don't need to repeat it here, were completely within her purview in that role. She's been through multiple Department of Health surveys, and although there's not maybe a huge depth of knowledge here at the community in how very much those regulations and those surveys do impact the departments that Cameron is going to oversee, that is really important and valuable experience for her to have. So we will be welcoming her. And I look forward to any additional questions that folks have. I have also explained in my memo sort of where some of my focus will shift as we move into this next phase. So I hope that that's also helpful to everyone that reads that memo. The Sustainability Committee has asked me to show you this sign, which some of you may recognize from your garbage rooms. We are actually going to be photocopying this sign with a notice on here asking you to please hang this on your door where you're exiting your apartment or cottage, sort of as a reminder, a visual guide to understanding exactly how commingled or dual stream recycling works here at Woodland Pond through our relationship with the Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency. This is sort of the ongoing effort to try and help people to understand the right way to recycle here at the community or in Ulster County. So that will be coming. I have been asked by a couple of residents to please remind folks about the fact that the fall virus season is upon us potentially. And while I am reticent to provide specific medical advice, certainly because everyone has different health conditions, different comorbidities, what I will absolutely really try to reinforce today is it's a great time for you to make an autumn wellness visit with your primary care physician. it's a good time to check in, and it's a really good time for you to have those direct conversations about whatever vaccines might be recommended for you in your particular situation. Have those discussions with your doctor, your primary care physician. And, it certainly can never hurt to see your doctor. So why don't we think about getting those scheduled? We have a note here that we have been receiving complaints from maintenance and other contractors about residents walking into apartments and cottages while they're under renovation. We have been, for the last 5 years or so, as apartments and cottages vacate, we have been renovating them at each turnover just to make sure that they're keeping current. This is something that we committed to doing financially. We did not want that to be deferred maintenance or deferred capital work. And so at any given time on campus right now, you might have 6 or 8 or more units under renovation as they switch hands from the old occupant into the new. And in order to ensure that residents are safe and not entering into renovation or construction zones, Tom will be creating and posting under renovation / do not enter signs on all of those units. We have started to get some feedback on the, what are we calling it? The compliance policy for community gatherings. It seems like it is being well received at this point. There has been a request, which I have engaged in a good amount of conversation with this morning, to replace the word social norm, which was recommended by legal counsel on page 3 of the policy, with something more definitive. The requester on that felt like that kind of could open up to too much interpretation. And in sort of developing that discussion, what we jointly concluded is that here at the community, first of all, I believe that social norms are a well described and not amorphous thing, but certainly they change from society to society. And Woodland Pond, in many ways, is its own society. The good news is that our norms are actually codified. So whether it's law or regulation, we already specifically delineate those in the policy, but our norms are codified in our resident handbook. So what I'm going to propose is that social norm language be replaced with the policies contained within the resident handbook. I do need to take that through legal counsel and through our board for any comment, just due to the sensitive nature of this policy. But I have no issue with justifying that. And I think that, we've got sort of everything that we want to have codified in that handbook. We have that. Again, I will use this as an opportunity for a shameless plug. If you have concerns, hesitancies, comments, feel conflicted about anything in our handbook, which really kind of sets the rule of the road here at the community, this is your time to say something about that. You could always say something about it, but now is the time to compel change or to compel your position being heard, because we have actively begun the 2025 handbook review and revision. We had a kickoff meeting with the resident task force that is taking the resident review side of it on, and they're looking at a number of those sort of not regulatory, not legally based, and not procedural types of policies, things like the non-solicitation policy, PET policy, all different kinds of things, you name it, they're looking at that. So this is your chance to have your concerns heard. At this point, if you have questions or comments about that, you can direct those to Fred Walensky. He is chairing that task force. So any proposed comments, proposed edits, if you send them to Fred, he will circulate them among the task force. And to be clear, that task force is working independently of management. Obviously, if we're invited or if there are questions, there have been some clarifications that have been requested of us and so forth, and that information is now freely flowing back and forth. But it's very, very critical to us to be able to demonstrate that the residents have a significant say in what is contained in those policies. And the best way for us to demonstrate that is to leave this in the hands of the residents. Our exec team also makes proposed edits, and then the combined accepted edits then go to the resident council for final comment and review. So it's a very, very resident-driven, resident-centric process. You have an opportunity now to really have your any concerns, comments, those kinds of things heard. Again, send those to Fred Walensky. I think the deadline we placed for that task force was October 31st, but they have a lot of work to do. So I wouldn't wait on it. Calendar items. We have, oh, incidentally, we don't have anything in the suggestion box or rumor mill today, which is, I guess, feast or famine. So these are the calendar items. And again, I would love your feedback on whether or not you want these included in these addresses or not. Today at 3 p.m. in the PAC, the Interfaith Committee is inviting everyone to join, where Woodland Pond resident Sue Cusack is going to share her journey of how faith has brought her through life. Thank you very much, Sue. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the PAC, the Brain Health team is inviting all to join to review the Pointer study with the speaker Meg Boyce from the Ulster County Alzheimer's Association. On Thursday at 11 a.m. in the PAC, Judy Riker will be back for part 2 of her decluttering workshop, and everyone's welcome. On Thursday at 2 p.m. in the PAC, Jonathan Papon, our director of rehab, will be conducting his second fall recovery training. And this highlights the 2-chair method that can be used in the event that you have fallen but are injured, or your neighbor has and you're near them. This is a very valuable skill for anyone in independent living to have, any independent senior, any independent person, because this is a nice way that you can work with 2 chairs and instruction to be able to get yourself off the floor, as long as you do not feel like you are injured. Sometimes it's a matter of strength or balance to not be able to get up, and the 2 chairs work fantastically. As you know, we want to be the best neighbor we can possibly be for the rescue squad. And if there are opportunities where you can help get yourself up or your neighbor up without touching them, just providing the chairs and providing them the instruction, that's one less call that we are pulling the EMS squad over here for when they otherwise might be needed somewhere else. So it's a win-win. Friday at 2:45 in the PAC, we are going to have a professional violinist named Elfin Vogel, a pianist Hollis Kellogg, and a cellist Claudia Reynaud for an afternoon of classical music. I bet you that they're going to love doing this kind of thing in the new PAC. Sunday at 2 p.m. in the PAC, the Interfaith Committee will be showing The Chosen, continuing to show The Chosen. And please, they've asked to join and then have a discussion to follow. On Monday at 2 p.m. in the Great Room, the Dulcimers and Handbells are joining together for the first of 2 fall concerts, and all are welcome to attend. And Monday at 7:30 in the PAC, Peter Brown will have his next presentation of Wanderlust Rhythms. In this one, there is a request that you sign up at Concierge. There's also a trip to the sewer plant, the New Paltz sewer plant, is my belief, is this Thursday. I will have Lindsay make sure she verifies that before she sends out my address, and we'll make sure it goes into the transcript correctly. We have an opportunity here to really understand how these kinds of things are being dealt with at the municipal level. And I want to thank Tim Rogers very much for opening this up. My belief is that he is actually conducting the tour. I think right now we only have 2 people signed up, but this is something that you really might be interested in if infrastructure excites you. We will get the details out to make sure I have the right dates. It's just not right in front of me. So that's all I have for today. I hope you all have a great day.